Minnesota State troopers are making strides to stop the flow of drugs into the state.
In 2017 alone, troopers seized more marijuana than in the past 5 years combined. The majority of the pot is coming from states where recreational use of marijuana is legal. But pot isn't the only drug that people are smuggling into Minnesota. Reg Chapman spoke with law enforcement on the front lines of the war on drugs. What'd you learn, Reg?
Well, Frank, back-to-back traffic stops along Minnesota interstates this past month and last netted more than $1 million worth of marijuana. While law enforcement is also busting people attempting to move methamphetamine, cocaine, and heroin through the state, they say they are seeing a huge increase in the amount of pot coming into Minnesota.
Methamphetamine, cocaine, heroin, and marijuana, 4 illegal substances Minnesota State Patrol says are making their way into the land of 10,000 lakes via interstates. Last year, State Patrol and its law enforcement partners stopped more than 4,200 pounds of weed from getting to Minnesota communities. That's more than the past 5 years combined.
And now in 2018, we're already seeing that trend continue, and we're either on pace or going to eclipse what we saw last year.
Big busts like this one in Otter Tail County last March netted 570 pounds of pot. 200 pounds was confiscated in Todd County. Colonel Matt Langer, chief of the Minnesota State Patrol, says working with the Violent Crime Enforcement Team not only stops the drugs but also helps them find out where they're coming from.
We've found that they're coming from states that have chose to violate federal law and legalize marijuana. Colorado, Oregon, California are our 3 biggest states that we're getting most of our quantities from right now.
Statewide drug and gang coordinator Brian Marquardt says dealers come from all walks of life.
You have very organized drug trafficking cartels, organizations that are making a lot of money off these, and you have the opportunities where people are trying to bring back, a few duffel bags full and try to make a fast dollar.
Now, Colonel Langer says tips from the community really help troopers focus their efforts to get the drugs before they get into Minnesota cities. He and others believe the best way to combat the flow of drugs in our state is to cut demand, Frank.
All right. Reg, thanks.